Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'll keep my remarks brief since we had such beautiful words of wisdom from Helen earlier. All right, when you're lighting candles for the Sabbath or a holiday, what's the blessing? Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav le... Right, and that word lahadlik, or what does it mean? To light, right? Or if you have a fancy translation, to kindle, to ignite. And in this week's Parsha, we also have a candle. And you would think that the commandment would be lahadlik, to light. But that's not the name of your Parsha, is it, Helen? Behaalotecha, when you cause the candle to go up? So that must mean something, say the commentators. That's an unusual verb. And the Or HaChaim says, well, it's not that you're supposed to lift the candelabra up. It's that you're supposed to make the flames go up. And the Or HaChaim says it's not just the flame that goes up. It's actually a reflection of the inner flame that burns in each human being. And that we're commanded in this Parsha to lift up our light to God. Another interesting part of this Parsha is how it's juxtaposed, how it bumps up against last week's Parsha. So at the end of last week, we had the 12 princes, the 12 heads of the tribes of Israel, bringing gifts to dedicate the sanctuary. Interesting fact, Joseph had 12 sons, one of whom was Levi. And you would think that he counts among the tribes, and he also offered up his gift on the occasion of dedicating the sanctuary. Actually, that's not how the 12 tribes work. Levi is set aside for different tasks. He doesn't bring the same gifts that the other 11 tribes do, and he doesn't inherit land the way the other tribes do. In case you're wondering, well, then how do you get to 12? Joseph got 2 portions, one for Manasseh and one for Ephraim. So it does add up to 12. So Rashi says, the reason that our story about the lamp comes right up against the gift that the princes of the other tribes bring is that when Levi saw that he couldn't be part of this gift bringing, he felt really left out. And he didn't know what to do to raise up his own spark. And God responded, their job is to bring the gifts. Your job is to work in the sanctuary. What God was saying is that each of us has to figure out what is that spark inside of us, because it's not necessarily what everyone else is doing. So then the question becomes, well, how do I figure out how to elevate my spark? How do I know what I'm supposed to do? It's also interesting to note in our Parsha that there are 2 lamps mentioned. So one is the 7-branched candelabra that we, human beings, are supposed to lift up. But it says that we should place it opposite the Ner Tamid. There's another light in the sanctuary. In fact, we like to represent it still in our sanctuaries, which symbolizes God's constant presence. And what this means is, without God's constant presence in the tabernacle, if you came in with the 7-branched candelabra, it would be dark when you went inside. You wouldn't be able to find your way. So God lights it up 24/7. And the idea is expressed beautifully in Psalm 18, that the candelabra represents humanity and the Ner Tamid represents God, and they shine light at each other. They reflect light back and forth. Psalm 18 says, "It is you who lights up my lamp. The Lord my God lights up my darkness." We exchange light. That's how we know how to elevate our own flame. We allow ourselves to bathe in God's light, to see ourselves in the light that God sees us, which is not always easy to do when we're bumped and bruised by life, when we feel like Levi, like everyone else is doing something and we can't quite figure out how to participate. So the way that one elevates their flame inside is to allow yourself to see yourself in the light that God does, to see what's good about yourself. So may we be blessed to notice that God is shining a light all the time in our inner sanctuaries, that we may never be in the dark, and that we may notice the light that God is providing. Shabbat Shalom.